Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. Welcome to me daily ramble. I hope you're all well. Are West Ham fans ungrateful? Are we wrong to expect attacking football, or just desire attacking football? Are we wrong? We're going to talk about that. Also, going to go on to talk about Lucas Paqueta and his trial because he's going quite well. It was all crap, as I said before. I mean, he ain't clear yet, but it's looking like he's going to be. And some other bits and pieces as well. But before we get there, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Drop a like on the video. That's the most important bit. And if you like your tea, your coffee, your hot chocolate and your accessories, head over to the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. Use our discount code Claret15. You'll find their link in the description. And you'll get a nice juicy 15% off. West Ham run company. Brilliant stuff. Cheaper than supermarkets. Get over there. Check them out. Okay. Look. It feels West Ham fans are divided again. It doesn't matter what the ratio is, whether it's 90% to 10%, 80% to 20%, we're divided. We're against each other again. On not so much Potter, I think people are kind of misconstruing what the argument is. I think Potter's largely irrelevant in this. Not many people that I've seen are calling for Potter to be sacked. We're just bored. We're bored with the football. Now, if that makes us entitled, if that does, if expecting to be entertained as a West Ham fan by your football team, expecting your team to go out there on the front foot when you're at home and take the game to the opposition is a ridiculous thing to expect, then yeah, maybe I am. I'm deluded and I'm just an old-fashioned, old school West Ham fan, and I've got to get with the times. I don't think I will get with the times. I've got to be honest. And this, like I've already said before, that doesn't mean I'm going to jump on the Potter out bandwagon. That's not going to happen. I don't know where people are getting this from. I mean, a lot of these people that are coming out now trying to pull a moral high ground on, I can't believe that people have just got no patience with Potter. They were the ones that were on Lopetegui and brutally on Moyes, as I was, but they were also on those two, and now you've got to give him time. I mean, only I can say when it's time. Like with Lopetegui, I said you've got to give him 10 games, then I went, and then that's when it's okay. No. Everyone's entitled to have their own thresholds on what's acceptable when you're watching your team play football. Everyone's different. At the end of the day, I've seen nothing from Potter to suggest he's going to ever play a brand of football that I'm going to enjoy. That much I can see. Because all of this nonsense that people are talking about, he hasn't got his players, wait till he's got his players in and stuff like that. Oh, come on. Come on. He's never had his players. He never had his players at Brighton, never had them at Chelsea. He's a coach, gets given players. Against Newcastle, when we played at home with 3 defensive midfielders on the pitch and Alvarez in the 10 when we had Soler and Paqueta on the bench, that was a choice. That was a choice. This is potable. It will improve or become more efficient, but it won't become more attractive. This is defensive, possession-based football. And when people make the parallel with David Moyes, it is different to what David Moyes did. If anything, David Moyes' brand of football, and this is saying something, had more moments of excitement in it because you still got the fast-paced, it was low block with a fast-paced counter-attack, almost like a B-Tech version of what Nottingham Forest are doing this season. So you had moments of excitement in the game. None of that with this. Not really. Not really. It's slow. It couldn't be any more against what West Ham fans associate with their football team. Let's be perfectly honest. When we spoke to Freddie Sears the other night, he said the same thing. He took his son to watch a Crystal Palace game, and after 30 minutes, his son was like, "Daddy, can we go home?" And he was like, "Yeah, I wanted to go as well." It was boring. It's boring. And it's been like this for 3 years now under successive managers, and it's not showing any sign of recovery, even at a point in a season where we've got flair players to burn, which we're probably not going to have next season because a lot of them are going to be sold on. We've got nothing to play for. The pressure's off, and we're still seeing drab defensive football. I think a lot of fans like Potter, and they've clinged to what he promised us in his Ironcast, the podcast that he did, where he said he was going to deliver a flavour of football that we could all associate with. All I can say is maybe he's not lying, but he definitely doesn't understand what the majority of us want to see. I don't really understand how people that were Moyes out because of the style of football like I was can be Potter in saying, I'll accept it. I mean, that's a bit hypocritical, isn't it? That's borderline racist towards Scottish people. It actually is. Because that was my driver. That was why I couldn't stand David Moyes. It was defensive football. Now, whether it's with the ball or without the ball, it makes no difference to me. I want to see my team play on the front foot. It's as simple as that. I want to see my team have balance between attack and defence. Not tipped way defensively with 8 defensive players on the pitch when you're at home. That's it. It's as simple as that. I just want to see my team go out on the front foot. So I don't see how you can be fully on board with this and go, yeah, I'm loving this Potter ball. It's really, I can see it's technically brilliant, and I can really see all the intricacies on it. Fucking pull the other one. It's keep ball in your own half. That's what it is. Well, you don't really get pressured, unless you're playing against a team that are going to press you high. But most teams are just going to go, all right, especially when you're at your ground, because that's probably why Potter's teams have historically been better away from home, because typically the onus is then on the home team to attack us. So we might get a little bit more joy, like we did against Arsenal. But when you're playing at home in this way, teams are a little bit more standoffish, and they will let you have the ball in your own half if you really want it. If you really want to knock it about back there and do nothing with it, do it. Fill your boots. Burn through minutes. It's up to you. So, yeah, I just don't really get the... I don't think there needs to be a divide at the moment, is what I'm trying to say. I completely respect anyone that has patience with Potter at the moment, because there are so many reasons why that would be. None of it can be the style of football that you're watching. It can't be. It can be, the fact that I like Potter, but I think he's going to change it and we're going to get better next season. That's fine. That's a reason. I get it. And that's up to you. If you want to believe that, that's fine. That's a good enough excuse. But I also feel completely sorry for the fans that have completely flipped with it all now, because it feels like a third consecutive dull manager that plays dull football. And you just feel like, when's it ever going to end? When? When are we ever going to see West Ham go out and attack a team again on the front foot? When's it going to happen? We've got no European football now. We're not going to have for the foreseeable either. The great players that we have got, which so many people want to dismiss. I mean, we had a debate a couple of weeks ago where people were saying, all these teams, a lot of our players, they won't even walk into, other Premier League teams. He's doing amazing, Potter, with what he's done. Well, hang on a minute. Just forget Soucek and James Ward-Prowse, because they're 2 players that wouldn't walk into another Premier League team, or not many of them anyway. They genuinely wouldn't. Those 2 wouldn't walk into any Premier League team, I'd say, above 14th place. But Bowen, yes. Kudus, yes. Paqueta, yes. Somerville, yes. Fulkrug, probably, yeah. He can't be bad, can he? Not as bad as we've made him look. Ferguson, probably. Soler, yes. Alvarez, yes. Scholes, yeah, I reckon so. Emerson, probably. Wan-Bissaka, definitely. Kilman, yes. Tadibo, yes. Areola, yes. That's 13, 14 top quality players. Also, he loves playing the wing-back system. This is what he's always played. He's playing it now. He's got those players. He's choosing to play. When people say, this is what I'm convinced of, when people say he ain't got his players yet, they're referring to Soucek and James Ward-Prowse. They're not the ones being replaced. It's the players that want to play forward, that want to play front foot football, that want to pick the ball up and run with it. Those bastards. We want players in this team that just want to keep the ball, because the ball moves faster than any man, and you don't need to run with it. Just don't be too adventurous, because if you try and make a through ball and you lose it, you've lost the ball. So don't do that. If there's not a clear pass on, come back, reset, keep going back. And that's why you see that kind of boring one-dimensional football, patient build-up, patient build-up, patient build-up, that all of us die inside watching. I know quite a few people. I know one person in particular that's getting frustrated with the frustration against Potter because of the style of football. But that same person did leave earlier than they've ever left a West Ham football match before. I think they left at half-time because they couldn't stand watching the football. They couldn't stand the brand of football. And it's that is going to happen more and more and more, particularly when like I said to you, there is no respite from it. It doesn't feel like there is any respite from this drab football. Now, he's got 9 games left. And people say, you've made your mind up about Potter. Or I haven't made my mind up about Potter. I've made my mind up about that football. That football, I don't like it. Potter, whatever. I think he's a decent bloke, you know? I don't like his football so far. And I don't like what I've read statistically about him in his previous jobs because it's very similar to what we're seeing now. So to think that he's all of a sudden going to completely transform and become something that he's never been before is quite mental, to be quite honest. But like I said, everyone is entitled to have hope and cling on to whatever they want. If you want to be positive, be positive. I'm not going to call you an idiot for it. If you want to be negative, because I think we're entitled to. That's down to us. Don't forget, we're living in a world at the moment where people ain't got a pot to piss in. They haven't. People are frustrated. They're angry. Football should be a release. That was always a mechanism that football played in a working class society. It was generally when times were tough and when people didn't have much money and when, they were struggling, they could go to watch their team at the weekend, give blood, sweat and tears, leave everything on the pitch, and you could sing, scream and shout to your heart's content and vent and get it out of your system. It provided a mechanism for working class people, and working class people need it back. The West Ham people need that back. We want our West Ham back. We do. Not this. I don't know what this is. Could it be that it's just football, modern football, because VAR's killed it and it's taken a lot of the passion out of the game in terms of celebrating goals? And yeah, I suppose it could be, but there's other teams that are playing better football than us, a lot better football than us. We're drab in every way, beige. And West Ham never were. We never were. Like I said to you, we interviewed Freddie Sears, 35 years old. He knows what the West Ham way is. He knows what's required for a player to come on and impress the fans. He also knows what it was like back then because he went on to talk about when the West Ham fans of old used to get on the backs of players. That was back at Upton Park. It's got nothing to do with modern football, that. West Ham fans have always been brutal. We love hard and we hate hard as well. It's just the way it is, We're a bit different. But I don't think as a whole the core fan base has changed. It's just that society's gone full circle. It's where people are proper under the cosh at the moment. I'm not going to get into the politics of it all. But there's a lot of people out there that are doing really well for themselves. And there's a lot of people that are not. More people that are not. And that is where football can provide a mechanism. It can provide a release for people. Why can't we have that back? Why can't we have our team back? So yes, in answer to that question, I know this is long and it's convoluted, but for people saying, will you give Potter a break? Will you do this? Will you do... I'm not really. I don't really see it as me being on Potter's back. I'm on it's the football. It's the football. I'm not going to accept that football. That doesn't mean I'm going to be Potter out. If Potter starts serving up football that I can get on board with and that I enjoy and it gets me on the edge of my seat, then yeah, I'll be all over Potter like a rash because it isn't personal with him. But he don't get to do this and get away with it with the West Ham fans, and he won't, because you will just see that stadium. Most people are the same. You've got a few that are a little bit different that will just stick with it through thick and thin. It doesn't matter what's served up, okay? But most people are the same now. We're getting tired of it. We're getting tired of it now. And it will just get more and more empty in that stadium. more and more barren, more and more dead. We need a spark. And that spark has to come from that football pitch. And now is a perfect time to execute that because we've currently got players that can do that can provide that spark. He's got the tools. He's got better tools now than he's going to have next season. I can tell you that much now. Potter has got better tools now to go out and entertain this fan base and get us on the edge of our seats than what he will have next season. We won't have these players next season. We're going to have steady Eddies. We're going to have Glenn Murray up front. Players like that. You know, with big defenders hoofing the ball to him holding it up. And that's what it's going to be, you know. Half an hour knocking it around, work it back to Dunk, over to Glenn Murray. One of you, hope that you score one of the 3 or 4 chances that you create in a game with 700 passes. So, yes, I do hope to be proved wrong on this. I really do. But like I said, the trend of Potter's managerial career in the Premier League so far suggest that this is his style of football. And managers typically don't change their spots, you know. They are what they are. It doesn't mean he's crap or anything like that. It just means that this is what he is. And I don't think that he'll be a long-term fit for West Ham if that is what he sticks with, because West Ham are different. And I think that's good that we're different. I think it's good that we've got standards about what we expect from our football team. And and those standards don't involve silverware because none of us are glory hunters. It's all about what our team do on a given day when they go out on that football pitch. And it's very simple. I've said it before. Front foot, go at the opposition. Leave everything on the pitch. Blood, sweat and tears. Bosh. Simple. If you've got the sprinkling of flair and everything else that you can throw in there, then all well and good. All well and good. But look, anyway, that is it from me. I don't think the fan base do need to be at each other's throats on this. I think we should just agree to just let each other have our own opinions. You know, if you're happy, be happy. And don't be angry because other people are angry. That's up to them. That's up to them. You know, we're each individuals. And we don't have to flip only when you say so, because now's the time. He's had 10 games. I mean, Lopetegui got 10 games and everyone flipped. Potter's on 9. He's had a couple of cup games as well. Now, I'm not expecting everyone to flip. I don't think they will this season because this season is dead. But this continues into next season. Yeah, you will see it flip. It will. I'm not talking about me either. The fan base will lose their minds if this is what we are watching next season. It won't be accepted. And there is nothing to be ashamed of with that. In fact, that's everything to be proud of as a West Ham fan because we're fierce about our heritage and our DNA. And it is not dirty and horrible for us to expect our chairman to employ a manager that will deliver a style of football that we can associate with, that we can identify with. There is nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't make us entitled. That's our right as football fans. In fact, it's wrong. We've got players there at the moment that can play the style of football that we want. But what we're seeing at the moment is a system being forced, which is kind of throttling a lot of our flair players, the likes of Kudus and Bowen and players like that. And Paqueta, it's killing them. Yeah, it doesn't make us entitled. I think sitting back and saying nothing is worse, in my opinion. Hopefully, Potter does take notice of the fans. Hopefully, he gets some pressure from the board. Hopefully, he gets a little bit of pressure to try and be more adventurous. But he's a pragmatist, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But look, anyway, that is it from me. I look forward to the Wolves game to see what he comes up with because he's going to have some more players available now. So we'll see what he does.